There's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says that detachment is not that you own nothing. Detachment is that nothing owns you. And I love it because to me that summarizes detachment in a way that it's not usually explained. Usually people see detachment as being away from everything. Actually, the greatest detachment is being close to everything and not letting it consume and own you. And that's real power.
Finally, somebody said it. This is my perspective on the word detachment. And I like it because it describes a lot of people that tend to rub society the wrong way. You have people that are quote unquote similar to what we would call sheep, like they basically do what everyone else does. Their rationalization for their bad behavior is other people do it too. And then you have people who go against the grain and tend to think for themselves and understand and dissect what's going on in society and the rights and wrongs of society to determine how they're going to maneuver for themselves. Those people tend to not let other people impose their will or tell them how they feel, tell them who they are. And because you can't get a rise out of that personality type, that's how you describe them. You try to shame them so they can be more of a conformist, if you will, because people that tend to stand out from the crowd tend to do their own thing essentially. So it tends to be offensive sometimes to individuals who have not made the same decision. So they'll shame you and call it you're just detached or you're antisocial, when in reality, being detached in this context is a good thing, because as a people, we have a need for attention, and so much attention that sometimes we constantly play head games and set up these chess pieces for a specific outcome. And when you realize you're a part of this game that you didn't sign up for and you start to take a step back from it, people tend to call you detached, when in reality they have been baiting you to get a specific response, to get a specific type of attention, and you have red flagged it. So you're not going to participate in that. You're going to refrain from participating in that if it's not true to yourself. And when I'm talking about what I'm talking about is people that tend to force a particular response on you, like say I love you and expect the only option in response to be yes. Say I miss you and your only option for response is yes. You see what I'm saying? Those people that tend to ask you a question that either gets them their way or makes you outrageously uncomfortable, so you don't go the uncomfortable route and you give them what they want. And so when people start to figure out that there are a lot of people in a huge amount of abundance of people that do this, you start to recognize it more often and you tend to step back off of that behavior, because you realize it's unhealthy, and you realize as long as you cater to it, and then you also realize within yourself that you're enabling them by allowing yourself to speak words you don't truly feel because you're trying to avoid that discomfort. And you start to kind of confront your own boundaries and step over your own hurdles, and you're growing. But there are plenty of people who want to stay in that space. So they'll refer to you as detached to hopefully get you to come around and reduce yourself to doing things the way everyone else does. I hope this wasn't so confusing, because it's been a long time that I've shared this perspective, but it's so hard to explain the two differences of the term detached. And we tend to deal with it in its negative connotation to speak to a person being antisocial or distant, or they don't want to get along with anybody, when in reality it's actually good to have a certain level of detachment, because otherwise you will find yourself falling victim to the manipulation of random people around you, because they know how to use their verbiage to get a particular response from you. And if the alternative to telling what you want to have happen or telling your truth is discomfort, you're likely to shy away from it, and people know that. So that's what they will explain to you is, or put you in that type of situation, like, oh, I really want to go out tonight, but if we don't go out, then I'm going to have to cancel with my dad, and it's the first impression, and da da da. And now you're like, oh, let's just go ahead and go out with your dad, when you know that you're not ready to meet him. The relationship is moving a little bit fast. You see what I'm saying? And there's so many instances where those things occur, and you end up doing or participating in something that you never actually wanted to be there, but you were actually running from the discomfort of telling the truth and affecting other people emotionally. And when you can step back from that and release yourself from that fear, unfortunately, what comes along with that is people telling you you're detached. And they mean antisocial and distant, not detached, as in knowing when to set your boundaries and maintain them by not letting people step over them to control your truth for you. Peace.